Well, we have AMI's special interview with Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak next.
A self-confessed geek, he's a lover of numbers and patterns, and our one-on-one took place on the 66th floor of the hotel he was staying in here in Singapore, which was a bit of a coincidence, of course, because the first Apple computer that he invented, the Apple One, went to the market at a price of $666.66.
Let's take a look at this interview.
I include a lot of fun and games and jokes in my life, and at that point in time, repeating digits were sort of important to me. Not important, but it was a game I played because I'd had some phone numbers start going way back to an old dial-a-joke where I got really good phone numbers with repeating digits. I had 255-6666, and I had 996-9999. And I just got, so that's a thing in my life. To this day, I love little simple games you can play with number patterns. And when I judge a hotel room by the number on the door.
Well, here in Asia, we're quite superstitious about numbers. Are you quite superstitious about numbers at all?
No, no, just a game for fun.
One of the intentions when you brought out your first microcomputer was to bring computers to the masses. Why was this of particular importance to you?
It was of particular importance to me largely because of political and social leanings that I had. A lot of it came up growing up as a nerd, being very much an outsider, not going to parties, not being spoken of by other people, not having a chance to understand how little people speak their words, being unimportant. Everywhere I went, I was not noticed and unimportant, and I always wanted the young person. Technology was going to help the average person in the average home have a better life at home. That's how I felt, and I loved my gadgets, and I had super skills, incredible computer building skills. So I saw this as, oh my gosh, we are now at the point we could possibly make a computer for people that's going to improve communication to where you can communicate with hundreds of people. It's going to improve education to where you get instant response on whether you're right or wrong, instant reward and punishment, instant feedback. It's also going to allow that little person to go in and be the star of their company when they were never noticed before. These were important goals to me. Yeah, that's why I wanted it.
Well, I mean, I suppose a lot of it's about empowerment, empowering smaller people. And I was reading today that Mark Zuckerberg right now is trying to take the internet or give internet access to people in developing countries where they currently don't have it. Do you think that's an entrepreneurial trait you have in common with someone like Mark Zuckerberg?
I admire that so much. To tell you the truth, I think everybody that has huge business success like Mark Zuckerberg tries to find ways, I wouldn't say everybody, but a large number, try to find ways, especially the younger ones, can I use my abilities and my wealth and my power to somehow enhance life for those who really aren't coming along very well? A lot of answers to it. I myself did an awful lot when I was young to give to charities, to arts groups, setting up museums, helping those who need. But I like to do it person to person. Send a computer to a family because a kid's father died or something like that. Out of my own money, I did that. But I think person to person diplomacy is another approach to the same thing.
Well, I mean, you're known for your philanthropy and also for educating young people. How do you think the tech sphere's changed in the last 5 to 10 years that's changed how children approach technology?
At one time, those of us who understood how to build technology devices and built the first ones and used them, we were rare. There were very few of us, and we were so special. And we were the geeks. And there was something about what a geek was. Nowadays, everybody who uses a smartphone and texts all the time and knows how to quickly go from app to app, they'll beat us. They'll beat us at anything, and they aren't necessarily technology geeks, but they're called technology geeks. They're users. They're geeks from the user level and not the building and creating level.
Next month, I gather, Apple's coming out with a new type of iPhone that's going to be cheaper and more available to the masses. What do you think of the direction that Apple's taking by doing this?
I'm not into the marketing, especially the worldwide marketing. And I'm not sure if it's even for domestic products or for the rest of the world, places where really price has come to be a stopping point. If you think about the ingredients that are in almost every smartphone made, they aren't that different. The quality of the processor might define a price difference. The number of input-output sensors, leaving a couple of things out that we found useful. It's tough to leave anything out, You obviously have to work on cellular radio bands. You obviously have to have Bluetooth. You've obviously got to have Wi-Fi, and you've got to have cellular. So really, you've built a lot of the parts in. It's hard to see. There's not that much room that I can see for the price range of these products.
What do you think of the challenges for Apple in the future and the direction that the company's taking in general?
Apple has so many great elements inside, from the employees, the way they think, the motivation, trying to live up to the culture and meaning of Apple, which is small products for the little guy, that are going to free us rather than enslave us. And you know what? And those, sure, you can't come out with an iPhone introduction every single year. You can't come up with an iPad introduction every year. You can't come up with an iPod every year. You can't have a product that great. There's kind of a limit to the number of things electronics do in our life that are important. There are a few areas that Apple's not in yet. And people talk about televisions and watches and I don't know. I also look at cars. I don't know for a fact. It'd be neat if Apple were building and designing an autonomous car.
Well, talking about watches, I mean, that's something I certainly wanted to touch on. I mean, do you see the future being in phones that we talk into on our wrists?
I see it being in a huge future in wearable computing. We've gone through a lot of stages in personal computers. At first, we had hardware and software at our disposal. One person to use a little device and maybe print a letter. Then we moved towards networks, and the internet came along. And eventually we had the GUI computers with mouses that thought more like the human brain. And then we had the social networks that let us communicate like never before. And now we've got this incredible mobile internet with us, starting with the iPhone. I think wearable computing is the next of those huge life-changing areas.
Now, in 1981, you were involved in a plane crash. How much did that have to do with you eventually leaving Apple?
The plane crash was very significant. I was on a little project called Macintosh with some of the most creative best friends I had in Apple. We had no idea where we were going to take this project. It wasn't necessarily going to be a smaller, lower-cost version of our big Lisa computer project in another building. And then I had the plane crash. And 5 weeks later, when I came out of amnesia and realized that 5 weeks had passed, I called up Steve Jobs and I said, the Macintosh group is so capable. They've got the greatest hardware designer in Burrell Smith. He can do as well as I. That Apple's not going to hurt, and I'm going to go back to college to get my degree because it's my last chance. I had a personal goal.
So would you say that the plane crash was an all-time low for you over the course of your career?
No, I've always looked at the plane crash as a very, very good thing in my life. I did go back to college under a fake name. I did have a lot of fun. Like my fourth year of college, I did earn a degree in computer science. It means so much to me. All of my schools in my life meant a lot to me, and that degree just symbolizes it. Doesn't mean that, I learned something that's going to give me important ideas in my future engineering, but that was a wonderful opportunity, and to also discover myself a lot. I put on some large rock concerts, and see where I was. That was the same time frame that as soon as I returned to Apple after that too, I sponsored a bunch of museums and arts groups in the city of San Jose, where I was born. And I wasn't that attached to my money like the others, that I'm just going to use it to build hordes of more money, because I was the one of us who did not start the company to have a platform to make money. I just started the company because it was my fun thing in life, and I was a great engineer.
Often it's a passion that drives people to set up successful companies, isn't it?
That's right. And when you think about it, what he did was really incredible. When you think about all the technology that we use today, the iPhones or any smartphone for that matter, and the wearable technology that he's talking about, it all exists because of his invention, the Apple I computer in the first place, because it's all rooted back to that technology.
Yeah. And it's good to see him also spreading the good around. He does a lot of philanthropic work, so he has a big heart as well, by the sounds of it.
Using his money for a positive purpose.